That's good. Tea, good for the soul. But tea for me means something else. Hi, everyone. I'm Monica May. My daughter Monique and I started something years ago called Let's Spill the Tea. You know, grandmothers sit on porches every day and they kind of just sit back, they rock, and they're spilling the tea, but it's gossip. Your girlfriends, they're gossiping. They got the tea on the newest entertainer and the new dance and this, that. But no, what we're talking about is really talking. Let's spill the tea. An opportunity for mothers and daughters who are 14 to 21 to have those courageous conversations. And sometimes they hurt. We even developed a 21-day journal called Let's Spill the Tea, the journal to help mothers and daughters by Monica and Monique May. And I was really getting a chance to look at this again. And it's really, really a good tool, especially when it's difficult for you to talk with your daughters. So let me just share with you, we are trying to develop a community where moms and girls can get the prompts, tips and tricks, so to speak, on how to have those courageous conversations. It could be about sex, it could be about drugs, could be about the music they're listening to, social media, all of the ilks that we see as moms, and now I do dads tease as well, that we see as, I don't understand what they're going through. But listen, I started this with the impression that there's got to be somebody out there that this can help, and I know that it is. I started this, I would say, almost 10 years ago. I was asked to speak at a home for teenage moms, and I've been going for a while, and I would see some of the same girls. And I'd say, wait a minute, they're not getting the real reality of this. So I sat in the car one day and I wrote a letter, and it got to be a pretty long letter. It started with me when I was 12 years old, and it went up until that day. And I wrote it in third person, so you never really knew that it was me, and you're just listening to me read this letter. And I pretended as if it was from a teen that I had been counseling with. And in the end, when I said, and that girl is finally giving herself her own approval, something that we all need. And she's now the producer. I was the producer of the Tom Joyner morning show at the time. Then they were like, Monica, that's you? Well, listen, I decided after reading that letter in front of a church filled with teens on a weekend camping retreat and had my daughter there, that was the first time she heard the teen letter. That's what we call it. And I thought that she would be so upset. She came to me at the end, tears streaming down her face. And you know what? She said, Ma, I knew you had gone through some stuff. I've even witnessed you go through some things. But if you made it through that, you're pretty tough, and I love you even more. So I felt like, wow, we're on to something. If I could still maintain the love of my own daughter after she witnessing and or just hearing third person through that letter, some of my dirty, and still love me, I could do something with this. So that's why we started Let's Spill the Tea. And really what we're trying to do is, like I said, develop that community. I want you to start sending me some questions. You can do it at info@Let's Spill the Tea, and we'll get some answers to you. I always do my teas, and I do real teas. I don't know a whole lot about tea other than I really like to sip it. It's just a gathering. It's a 90-minute session, and I always have mental health people there with me. And we have those topics that I mentioned. And I got to tell you, we do split up the moms and the daughters. They have the same conversation, but on their level. Then we have the same conversation with moms. And that gives them something to be able to cross-reference. And then some dads came up to me after a while and said, Monica, I've got a daughter too. What about us dads? So every Father's Day, I do one for the dads. And you've got to know that the emotions run high in those things. And I got to really, really share with you that mental health counseling really is our objective for that. As minorities, we don't often see the need for what goes on in this house stays in this house. Well, I know that. But today there's so much going on in the streets. They're bringing it home. I just did an interview. By the way, I'm a media personality here in Orlando, Florida. And I just did this interview with a television anchor on human trafficking. And you'd be surprised. 6 years old, this now grown woman talked about being groomed by her own father. So there's some things that are happening, and especially today, it takes 17 minutes for an online enticement to happen. So these are some of the things that we'll be talking about. And I do hope that you'll join me. Again, it is called Let's Spill the Tea. I'm Monica May. My daughter Monique will be joining me as well. And I hope to hear from you also at info@letspillthetea.org.